piece of paper. You can have that if you like. Well, the initial inspiration was the rise of the far right wing in England at the time, which was early 80s, late 70s, and I created a story that was about an urban guerrilla fighting a fascist dictatorship. Alan had also done something similar, and then when we came to create Vendetta, we blended those two stories together and came up with something different. So that was the concern, that was the thing that inspired us. But the model for V for Vendetta is Germany in the 30s. In Germany in the 30s, a mass of the population came out of hyperinflation, mass unemployment, and they were desperate for a saviour. And they chose the wrong man, of course. And that, unfortunately, is what happens in a situation like this. And I know that here you also have a rise of the right wing here, again in circumstances where you have an you have a bad economic situation. So it's something you have to guard against. And our story was a kind of warning, in exactly the same way as George Orwell's 1984 was a warning. We were following the same tradition.
So do you find similarities between the situation that we're living in now, not only in Greece, in the most world, with the reason that inspired your work?
Of course, absolutely. I mean, across Europe, you have bad economic situations occurring in various countries, entirely due to the bankers and their criminal negligence and gambling, and they've created this situation of that it can be potentially dangerous in political terms and social terms, and I think it's something that we need to tell stories about. We need to, if you're a storyteller and you want, and you have the ability to say something, and you feel something about a social situation or a political situation, I think it's your duty to tell those stories, because to entertain and warn is one of those things that artists can do.
Yeah. But people say that you present the government very exaggerated way. Do we have such governments today in the globe who work like this? Need to make a big change, like you present in your work.
In order to overthrow the kind of tyranny that we suggested might exist in V for Vendetta, obviously you need mass revolution. You can't.
Do you believe in mass revolution?
Any tyranny has to be overthrown by a mass revolution, of course. It has to be. Any totalitarian dictatorship has to. It's the history of the world. Nothing changes unless there is direct action. I don't think it can't be done because a totalitarian state controls all the tools of communication and tools of government. So unless the people act as a mass, then they won't get anything done. I mean, the idea of an individual causing this is a dream. It's a utopian ideal. We could all do with if we are suffering under totalitarianism, we obviously everybody needs a V character, but that's not going to happen. But the public, the mass can be strong and join together and band together. You have to do that.
We see that people here in Greece and in Spain have used your character as a symbol. Do you like that?
Yes, of course. I mean, it's great when something leaps from fiction into fact, if its integrity retains, and if it's leading a good cause. And The great thing about the Mask of V is that it's an all-purpose symbol of protest. It symbolises resistance to tyranny, any tyranny, a perceived tyranny, which is why it's used by many different organisations. And I've seen it used in small areas, in a small sense, a rebellion of councillors, and mass movements too, because it just symbolises that resistance to oppression and repression. And it can be used in many different forms, and I'm glad that it's been used in that way. I just hope that at no point does it ever lead to tragedy or real violence. A peaceful protest symbol.